Today, there's a bonsai exhibit here at the Birmingham Botanical Gardens, and you can see these miniature plants. Now, if I may ask, how do you create bonsai? How do you miniaturize a plant?
Scare them to death.
So all I have to do is show them my picture, and then we're all set?
Usually a good starting material, let's say like an elm like this.
So this is an elm tree.
This is an elm.
That is an elm tree.
It's a variety of Chinese elm.
A Chinese elm, and that's just to give you an idea. Here's my hat.
Yep.
And here's that tree. I mean, that's a small tree. I mean, if you let's put it this way: if you wanted to take my business card, you would not get enough wood out of this tree to make my business card very well. So how do you miniaturize a tree like this? How is that done?
Root pruning, pinching back leaves and trimming them, and repotting the trees every other season or so when they need additional attention, and you keep them within the confines of their pot where they're not allowed to grow vigorously.
So how long would it take to turn a clipping into this bonsai tree?
If you were to take a clipping that you put some root hormone on and you put it in some dirt, depending on the variety, you could start seeing its results in 4 or 5 years possibly when you've done some.
So this is not a quick process. Despite the size of the plant, they still have to grow like a regular plant.
Right. It's not like the ones on the side of the road where they chop them down, put them in a pot, and they die in a week. So these are what would you say, 8 to 10 years old on one of these little elms.
And how long will a tree like this live?
Probably outlive you if it was taken care of. I mean, it'll live a lifetime.
Well, I don't take care of myself as well as I should, so that's not too hard. But could you describe some of the trees that you have here?
Sure. These are Jacqueline Hillier elms. Are actually a variety of a Chinese elm. We have Sarissa, and over on the end,
2 jades over there.
Now, when you say a jade, what is a jade?
It's a succulent that's basically being trained as a tree.
Trained as a tree. I like the way you put that.
They make good trees. They grow fairly quickly, and they're easy to propagate.
Yeah, you can put them indoors in front of a big sunny windowsill, and they do very well.
And these are dwarf mugo pines. These are, of course, all outdoor varieties. You wouldn't want to leave these indoors. Just like a big pine tree out in the yard, you don't bring it in the house, so you have to leave it outside. But they all have their own nuances in how you take care of them. They have different feeding and care habits. You have a juniper over here that's got some driftwood or deadwood on it that's been carved away. The bark's been peeled away to simulate age on the wood. So we actually use some lime sulfur on the wood to give it a deadwood effect. And we take care of these. We trim back. We pinch off excess growth to stunt the growth and keep it compact. So let's see, these are Kingsville boxwoods, just like you'd see a boxwood or shrub out in a yard. These, because they have such small leaves, make really good compact leaf structures for miniature trees. These grow very slowly. The gentleman behind you over here is your boxwood expert. He's got several that he sells material that's a good starter material to get a head start on.
Now, what prompted you to get involved in bonsai? Was it something that you were interested in all the time, or is it something that you saw at an exhibit like this and said, hey, this is something interesting?
Yeah, I've been a 30-year IT professional that I needed something that was a good hobby and stress reliever, and these really don't care anything about technology.
As a person whose professional name is the tech guy, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it's one of those things that it's a good pastime, and I found I had an interest in it. I managed to keep a couple of trees alive after the first year, so I figured I'd keep trying.
Now, I have one question that immediately occurred to me. Now, if you have, especially a cat, I imagine a dog that's not that much of a problem, depending on the size of the dog. I mean, a Pekingese dog might actually find use for some of these trees, unfortunately, but in the house. But how do animals deal with these in the house? Do they do they think of them as trees? Do they react because of the smell of them, the same as
Depends on
a regular tree?
fertilizer.
Or?
If you use fish emulsion, which is a common organic fertilizer, it naturally attracts squirrels, cats, all types of animals. So you certainly want to keep a tree outside if you're using that type of fertilizer on it. But they like to dig. You'll find that outdoors squirrels will dig feed pellets out of the soil and really get after it. So it's you do have to deal with pests. I usually keep animals that are bigger than the ones that are trying to get in the trees.
Now, the Alabama Bonsai Society, how long has that been around?
That gentleman right there would be the perfect one to talk to. He is one of our founding members.
In that case, I will stop tape and then...
So, who's guilty of this?
Ko je kriv za ovo?
Alright, okay. Same story.
Iste priče.
Okay, this is the best tree so far.
Ovo je do sada najbolji stav.
Okay, this is Fraxinus,
Ovo je jasen.
an ash. A bit leaning forward would be
Opet
better.
treba da se
You
naginje na
you
naprijed.
see from the side, it's just, not vertical, it's
Nije
just,
vertikalno, malo je
just a
nagnuto.
bit forward. Okay, this is the front
Ovo je
because
prednja
the
strana.
nebari is good.
Nebar je
I
dobar.
like the fact that this branch is not here,
Sviđa mi se
but
što
this
je ta
goes
grana
here,
malo na napred,
like
kao
a bit covering this
da malo
empty
pokrije
trunk
stavu.
here.
Da ne bude stablo
Okay.
potpuno golo.
You have, just by intuition,
Po intuiciji
done the right thing. You have
si uradio
ignored the
pravu stvar.
bonsai rules
Ignorisao si bonsai
and let
pravila
this grow up,
i ostavio
and let this grow up
da poraste
like a real tree.
kao pravo drvo.
You see, this is not a branch. This
Ovo
is
nije
a
grana,
subtrunk.
ovo je drugo stavlo.
This is a subtrunk. This is a subtrunk. So they can go up.
Tako
Okay.
da i ovo sa strane, tako da može da ide na gore.
Like with the other tree, it's okay for the small branches to go very radically down,
U redu je da se manje grane obaraju na dole,
make the tree a bit rounder.
tako da bi bilo opet okruglije.
Okay. Now you can either wire and
Možeš
bend
da je
down,
kožičiš,
or you probably have seen on the internet and my blog, I have another technique.
Ili druga
I use a
tehnika.
lot of what is called guy wire. It looks
žice
terrible, okay,
izgledaju
ugly,
grozno,
but it's
ali
very, very effective. Very
se
quickly,
zatežu
I
i
pull
brzo
everything
obaraju.
down
Sve
for
se
1
obara.
year, and then I take off, and it looks
Za godinu dana to se skine i izgleda dobro.
okay. So this is. I would not do much. I would
Ne bih radio ovdje
other
mnogo.
than pulling down the
Osim
branches.
što bi obarao grane,
You see, now they are like this,
sad su
pulling them down
ovako,
like that.
treba ih oboriti.
Now the trick is the following.
Sledeće, što si u
You
sledećem?
want this to look like, okay?
Hoćete
So
da izgleda ovako.
everyone pulls them down to this.
Svi ih obore ovako.
Wrong mistake. What do you do? Do this.
Treba da se obore niže,
After a year, you take off the wire, jumps back.
jer će one
Right where you
skočiti
want.
više nego što su bile oborene žice.
So, when you come to my garden,
Kada dođete u
you
moj
will
vrt,
see a lot of ugly trees.
vidjet ćete mnogo ružnih
A lot
stavova,
of ugly wire,
mnogo ružnih žica,
exaggerated,
preterano oborenih grana,
wired, bent too much.
previše savijeni,
Looks like I have a very bad taste.
izgleda kao da imam jako loš ukus.
But if I take off everything, everything looks fine. Okay, next one.
Sledeće,